The fort, now known as Fort Jesus in Mombasa, was built by the Portuguese between 1593 and 1596, according to plans drawn by the Italian architect Giovanni Battista Cairati. Its design reflects Renaissance ideals. Its overall layout and proportions echo that of the human body, giving it a shape that from the air resembles a man lying on his back, with limbs splayed wide. Originally, the fort served to secure the port of Mombasa and to safeguard Portuguese interests in East Africa trade routes. Over time, it became a key military stronghold. Its thick coral stone walls, bastions, and strategic design allowed it to survive many attacks. In 1698, after a prolonged siege from 1696 to 1698 by Omani Arabs, the fort finally fell to them, ending the Portuguese era on the East African coast. The Arabs, Omanis, stayed in control for many years. The British later assumed control when colonial rule was imposed. In 1895, under British colonial administration, Fort Jesus was converted into a prison. The weapons used at the fort included artillery, known locally as mzinga, which in English may be referred to as a mortar or cannon. These were placed strategically around the fort to guard against seaborne and land-based attackers. They used gunpowder and iron balls cast in furnaces to fire on enemy vessels approaching the harbour. Among the significant areas within the fort are the old captain's house, the residence of the Portuguese commandant, the passage of arches, through which weapons and supplies were brought in, and the ammunition store, positioned close to the passage to allow for rapid distribution during sieges or attacks. When the Arabs took over, they reinforced security, for example, the doors to rooms, or perhaps the entrances inside or near the fort, were sometimes rigged with sharp metal objects to deter enemies who might try to use animals, e.g., for forced entry, since animals would hesitate to break through such defenses. There is also mention of a secret underground passage or tunnel that once extended for kilometers from the fort. This tunnel was reportedly closed off by the Arabs after they captured Fort Jesus, possibly to prevent Portuguese or later British forces from using it to infiltrate the fort or to stop prisoners from escaping once the British turned the fort into a prison. Inside the fort's walls, illustrations or drawings once depicted Portuguese life, including images of fish and dhows, traditional sailing vessels used to bring supplies. Other symbolic drawings, such as of a broken heart, may have reflected the sorrow and despair of the Portuguese when they were finally defeated and forced to abandon the fort. Under the sea-facing walls and bastions lie the remains of the mzinga artillery, positioned so that their fire could reach approaching enemy ships. This allowed defenders to use both gunpowder and iron cannonballs to destroy or repel vessels before they could reach the harbour. Because of security concerns, from attacks by enemies and from local raids, the Portuguese included a well within the fort to supply water. After the Arabs took over, they also dug their own well. According to some sources, a well sunk by the Arabs reached a depth of 76 feet. Though the water turned out too salty for drinking, it was useful for washing clothes. During the Arab period, certain rooms were refurbished. What is sometimes referred to as the Oman's room, or Oman's quarters, was redecorated with portraits or decorations reflecting Arab rule, illustrating Arab culture, food, and life along the coast. Fort Jesus also houses, or once housed, the skeleton of a large whale, a testament to the long history of seafaring, trade, and marine life that intersected around Mombasa's coast. Today, Fort Jesus stands as a testament to centuries of struggle over trade, culture, and power on the East African coast, its walls bearing witness to Portuguese, Arab, Omani, and British rule.